this video we're looking at 10 Muse riffs that might be easier to play than you imagine. I don't think there's any full Muse song that can be considered at total beginner level. If you disagree with that, let me know in the comments and we might do some tutorials for some more Muse songs that are super beginner friendly in the future. But for this video I'm just going to share with you my top 10 easiest Muse riffs to play on electric guitar. Starting with the title track of their most recent album, Will of the People. I read an interview with Matt Bellamy recently where he said they're basically playing blues riffs and it's often the production or the guitar sound that makes it sound more modern or kind of like Muse really. And this is a classic example of that, where we have an A power chord and then the riff is just on frets 3, 4 and 5 with the open string also. Let me do that again. So if you can play that riff, you can probably work out the rest of that song. It's not too difficult, I'll leave the tab below. But what other Muse songs have we got that are based on this kind of blues influence? Well, also one of their biggest hits, Supermassive Black Hole. Supermassive Black Hole starts with the open, thickest string, standard tuning, moving up to the minor third but an octave higher than the root. So that's open string 6 to fret 10 at string 5. Bend it down a little bit, which is why I'm supporting that bend with my other fingers like this. Occasionally playing an E power chord. And then this riff really reminds me of Back in Black, to be honest. That riff is just based on the E minor pentatonic but played in a very creative way because of the distance in intervals between those first two notes. The rest of the song is based on power chords. So once you get used to that, there's nothing that a beginner can't have a go at there. It's a very good song to be learning. Another Muse song that's based basically on power chords and is in standard tuning is Time Is Running Out. So again, while we're stretching the easy tag, this song is based on power chords and single note riffs and isn't too challenging. It doesn't go into 16th picking, it doesn't go too fast, it's not based on any crazy scale. It's power chords and then a single note riff that most people can learn how to play with a little bit of practice. If any of those have been too difficult for you so far, probably the easiest Muse riff is in something called drop D tuning, which means the thickest E string goes like this. Which means we can play power chords with one finger. And this is how to play Muse's cover of the song Feeling Good. I have a full tutorial for that song on my YouTube channel and website. Let me know in the comments below any other songs that you want longer or fuller tutorials for, because I can't wait to film them for you if you're into this kind of thing. Another Muse riff that's in drop D and is pretty easy. This is Psycho. love that drop D sound. Again, we're at the 3rd fret and 5th fret. Very kind of entry-level riffs, like the first rock riffs you learn are probably, you know, something like Smoke on the Water or something. This is using the same frets. It's a blues riff. But the heavy guitar, that fuzz sound, and the drop D tuning make it sound a little bit more Muse, a little bit more futuristic. The next song on my list, I wouldn't say is a beginner-friendly riff, but it's certainly easier than you might imagine. It's all on one string. You could play the whole riff with one finger if you wanted. It's one of my favourites. This is Newborn. Alright, so I've gone a little bit advanced there, I admit. However, I find it quite hilarious that he just hits a C chord as soon as it goes to that chord section. So a beginner-friendly chord at least. And you can play this all on one string. And if I play this without my Schaefer replica pedal, which is the only overdrive pedal I'm using apart from just going into a plexi amp, not a great way to get a Muse sound, but it's the best sound I can generate with the gear that I have, and it sounds pretty cool to me. I'm using my first finger and the little finger, and as soon as you get that technique of kind of just going flat to flat, and that one slide, it's the same move twice, and then and the fact that it's just holding down power chords with the first finger in drop D tuning, I think with a little bit of practice most people can learn that, and it's a superb song, one of my favourites. Another very easy Muse song to play in drop D tuning is Uprising. So we have a unison bend there. Certainly not a beginner technique, but certainly an entry-level like lead electric guitar technique. One of the first things you're going to do when you learn lead guitar is learn how to bend. And I think as soon as you learn how to bend like that at all, and bending up to the pitch of the whole step note that you're going for, whole step bend, learn to actually hold down that and do a unison bend. It was fascinating actually seeing videos of Angus Young play this kind of technique. So he's got quite small hands and small fingers. He always uses the little finger. That's how Angus Young does these kind of unison bends. It's a very handy tip. But there's actually not a lot of guitar in the rhythm parts to this. One of the few rhythm parts in this song played on electric guitar is this octave technique. That's just playing the D note as an octave, kind of a power chord without the 5th basically, so just the octave. Down, up, mute, up, down, up, mute. Another Muse riff that uses that octave technique in a very similar way is Hysteria. I'm back in standard tuning now. That's using this octave technique again on string 3 and string 5 and just moving it around the fretboards from the 12th fret and 14, 11 and 13, 8 and 10, 7 and 9. Again, a standard technique. This is Pressure by Muse, and it has a similar kind of vibe to that. And it was another one I found by running through their back catalogue. It sounds a little bit Santana, actually. I've gone to the neck pickup here because the bridge pickup isn't how we get that tone. All on the 3rd string. My final riff actually has the thickest string down to an A note, which I presume he plays on his 7th string. This is Supermassive, and this came out when I was still doing a lot of one-to-one lessons face-to-face. And so when I used to teach these to the guys that wanted to learn it, we actually just used the open A string to save a lot of retuning and to save having to buy a 7-string guitar, basically. So here's how that riff sounds, literally in standard tuning. Super cool riff. Those are my ideas as a suggested top 10 easy-ish Muse riffs. Let me know which ones you like in the comments below. Let me know which ones you'd like me to do videos for in the future. And enjoy playing some Muse songs because they're an absolutely fantastic band.